Good afternoon. My name is Moses A. Cross. They call me the Horseman. I want to talk to you today about a strange subject, the alternative fact phenomenon, or the advent of alternative facts. Stay with me for a few minutes, will you? In the year 2016, during the US presidential elections, we got introduced to a new concept for truth. That new concept is called alternative facts. You may laugh at this idea and dismiss it as foolishness, but please be quickly reminded that alternative facts are essentially responsible for the present government. Alternative facts gave us Donald Trump for President of the United States and leader, or presumptive leader, of the free world. Yes, you may laugh at the idea of alternative facts, but the joke is really on you, since Donald Trump is, after all, the 45th President of the United States and indeed the most powerful man on planet Earth. Can I tell you that I saw this coming? Yes, I will tell you this. I, in fact, did send a written warning to candidate Hillary Clinton, wherein I declared the likelihood of a Donald Trump victory over candidates such as Jeb, Clinton, and all the others. Of course, the matter of alternative facts wasn't the primary basis of my discussion at that time, because we had not yet reaped the consequences of its explosion into our lives. My focus at the time was on the saturation of our culture by the phenomenon known as reality television. You see, 20 years ago we started out with about 3 reality TV shows. And 20 years later, we're hovering around 300 and counting. I believe in 1 year we peaked to around 700 reality TV shows in a 12-month period. In my article, I outlined the fact that while politicians like Jeb and Clinton managed their run for the White House with political correctness as their mantras, Trump, on the other hand, hijacked the emotions of the populace by knowing how to endear himself to the average voter in today's reality TV-driven culture. Having that understanding is the reason he ran a very boisterous and rude and uncouth and abusive campaign. None of this mattered to the masses due to their emotional and moral dislocation. As Trump declared, he could shoot somebody in New York Times Square and it would not matter. The people, you see, have become addicted to the drama, and today he, President Donald Trump, represents their very ultimate source. This, in and of itself, was enough to catapult Donald Trump to the presidency. But then, here comes more reinforcement. The advent of alternative facts. That was, in fact, the silver bullet, Now, imagine that this was, in fact, a part of a larger strategy of Donald Trump and his team. I remember that first time I heard the phrase alternative facts. Those words came from a morning interview with Kellyanne Conway. It's on MSNBC. She blurted out those infamous words to the chagrin of newscasters and intellectuals all across America. We were introduced to a phrase which has now become our reality. Did they in fact activate that idea? Was it an accident? Was it just a slip of the tongue which gained legs from our involuntary cudgeling of this presumptively laughable idea? There are some hard lessons to be learned, and now we must come to terms with alternative facts being a very dominant part of our reality. It is part and parcel of the reason why Donald Trump clings to governing his base and not the people of America. This is because he's completely sold out on the idea of alternative facts. Sadly enough, unless we the people awake from our slumber, it could be some time before we recover, if ever, from this tragic reality and its consequences on our lives as well as on the lives of our children. Knowing, appreciating, and understanding the consequences of embracing such fallacy invokes the need to dissect this idea and to uncover its very origin and life source. These are my thoughts and opinions regarding this very growing idea of clinging to alternative facts. 1. This is where we are today. 2. It is real and it is ever growing. 3. How do we stop it? 4. What happens if we don't stop its growth? It is time we begin a serious conversation about alternative facts. Whether we acknowledge its presence or not will no longer influence the outcome and its consequences to our lives because it already is. Therefore, it becomes necessary to acknowledge its presence and to become decisive about whether we will allow it to stay. Most certainly we cannot. Please know and appreciate that, unfortunately, with each passing day, this phenomenon is ever growing. It's becoming more pronounced and more seamlessly integrated into the very fiber of our culture. This is scary, folks. But how do we stop it? Part and parcel of our strategy to destroy the alternative fact phenomenon is to depoliticize its essence. A failure to do this will result in only more of the same. We must therefore engage this subject matter in our churches, in our schools, but most importantly, within the reaches of our public media, television, radio, newspaper, and so on. Let the conversation begin. The dissemination of truth has always been the vanguard of building a fair, honest, and decent society. The promulgation of lies will ultimately become the ungluing of everything that is good about our society. Everything. I believe that if we allow the destructive force to continue its pathway of growth and ascension into our daily lives, it will naturally become the very catalyst for a new American Civil War. Well, who knows? Maybe that is the ultimate goal of Donald Trump and his cohorts. Us taking it all in strides and for granted is our biggest mistake, folks, and potentially our greatest undoing as a civilized nation. I implore all of us and our leaders to cease from pussyfooting around with this subject matter and become the change that is necessary to bring about an end to this phenomenon before it is too late. Please make special note of these facts. 1. What do people do with things and ideas they believe in? The answer, they cling to them. They'll even die for them. 2. What happens when an idea germinates long enough and within one's mind and thoughts? The answer, the idea forms and becomes that person's reality. Let's not fool ourselves. Folks, let us not allow for the creation of a civilization that is built on falsehoods, lies, and deception. Such things are now camouflaged and sold to our children as alternative facts. This is dangerous. Let the conversation begin. Truth must prevail. Truth alone can save us from this peril. Thank you for listening. I remain faithfully yours, Moses A. Cross, aka the Horseman. Peace be unto you.